Stay tuned for today's Antidote, brought to you by the Renegade Success Network. Today's Antidote features a healthy dose of thought-provoking insights and information for business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and nonprofit professionals. Each day since March of 2020, this program has offered that one thing to help you continue on your own unique pathway to success. And now, Renegades, we bring you Bob Graham and Tom Brush.
Yeah. Well, good morning, everyone. How are you today, Bob?
I'm doing well, Tom. I like when you add to it. Makes it fun.
Well, sometimes I have to feel the Monday morning, I got to get myself all fired up and ready to go for the week, which is a big week. Can you believe that we're in the last week, 2020? Unbelievable.
Well, the unbelievable part to me, Tom, since you opened the door, I will go right through it proudly, is that many people I've talked to believe that the clock is going to shift at 11:59 Thursday night, and we will start a new year. And all the things that happened in this past year will just go right out the window. They'll be forgotten, and we will just be in this, what maybe we'll go back to normal or the new normal. Not that I think either exists. And I know you have thoughts on that. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, welcome, everyone. I'm Tom Brush. That's Bob Graham. This is today's Antidote. We got to throw it in there somehow. And our goal today is to help provide one thing that's going to help you. Maybe it's today, maybe it's tomorrow, maybe it's in 3 weeks, or maybe it's next year, to move forward, to not be stuck. And I think that our topic today or this week is taking stock. And I think that's a very appropriate thing to do frequently, and especially at the end of a year or at the end of any time frame, or even at the end of an event, for example. I think so often we just are ready to move on, like you talked about, that many people are just like, okay, it's going to be January 1st and everything is going to be forgotten. And while I see why, especially this year, people may want to do that, I think that they're missing out on an opportunity to really take stock in what happened last year and really try to go back and understand. Because despite all of the challenges that we faced and all the things that went on and all of the, for so many reasons that maybe we want to forget or remember 2020, it's really important to go back and look at that to help us then move forward. And so I think today, I hope that people are starting to take a look at what were the destinations that they reached in 2020, whatever that may be. Some of them may have been destinations because of challenges faced, or some of them might be because of things that they've achieved, but they are a destination. They are a path along their journey. And so I think it is valuable as we start this week off to go back and look at some of those things that were destinations that we achieved throughout the year that we reached.
It's essential to do that. That's how we grow. That's how we become better at what we do. And if we don't do that, we are consigning ourselves to repeating the same thing over and over without any knowledge, which if you repeat the same thing over and over and expect a different result, I believe it was Einstein said that would be the definition of insanity. So rather than being insane, the sane approach is to look at where you've been and say, wow, I did achieve these things. I think back to where my business was in early March and even late last year, because I have some annual subscriptions and they are coming due right now. And I remember a year ago, I was trying to spend down some money. And so I was looking for things to buy that would improve my business. And I expected some expansion. Well, that didn't happen over the course of the year. But my business expanded in other ways. This project with you and me wasn't on the slate at all last year. And when I take stock, I think of what we've been able to achieve together. And I also think what we've been able to help other people achieve. And I've learned so many lessons from that experience, both great lessons, but also things that, hey, I learned this. We talked at one point, we would have done this in a different sequence if we had known. And I certainly know that because I'm helping one of my clients now follow a similar trajectory, and he's doing it the way that you and I would do it if we had done it differently. So there's a case of taking stock and going, wow, I can learn something from this. How about you, Tom?
Well, I think that it's always important to go back and understand what's happened. I think that it's and what's hard is that we can look at destinations in so many different ways. They can be small, they can be large, they can be seemingly un as critical or important or as impactful as we may think, and yet they are all still part of the overall journey. And I think that's something that as we continue to talk about what's real, there are small destinations that we take along the way, conversations that were had, events that were done, projects that we worked on, clients that we spoke to. All of those things come into an impact of what happened over the year. And to just look back and be like a broad brush sweep on whether it was a great year, was a horrible year, however you might want to qualify it right now, until you actually go back and start to think about it. We were doing this actually on a call that my mastermind coaching group, we were asked to come up with 3 things that were positives that we were taking or that happened during this year. And what was fascinating was, as each person went through it, many of them, despite how challenging the year was, had at easily 3 things and could have come up with more. And so I think that when we go back and take stock of what the year looks like, understanding that in all of this, there are going to be just destinations that we have reached along the way. And each of those destinations provides us with some insight into what's happened and how we can move forward. So that, as you say, we don't just continue to repeat doing what we have always done. That's probably not going to get us where we want to go.
Even if you had a really bad year this year, you still learned valuable lessons that you will carry forth with you if you choose to, as you look at the next year and the year after that. And you'll go, oh, I shouldn't have done this, I shouldn't have done that. Like for me, I made some decisions that now, if I know more, but now I realize I had incomplete information. I think one thing I fall into, Tom, and you've heard it this morning, is I tend to look at the things I wouldn't have done, not the things I would. And I think that's where the shift has to be today. For just today, what are the things that you did that really worked out well? Even if it was just, I managed a way to make money this year, and I paid my mortgage. I paid my car payment. I provided gifts for my children for the holidays. Those are all, destinations that at some point this year, for a lot of people, those things may not have been real. They may have been difficult to reach. So we've got to celebrate them. And I think when you say little things and big things, I think we have to really put detail to that, because we tend to only want to do the sweeping thing. Well, my business survived. No, I found 3 new clients. I did this new thing. What happened?
I have to plug in. Hold on one second. Keep talking.
Okay, I was going to say, you looked like an earthquake had hit the Brush estate. So Tom is now plugging in, which means I can say whatever I want. So we need to look at those details of the positives, not just I'm still in business, if that's it, but where did you grow? Where did you pick up a new customer client? Where did you expand? What did you do? What kind of budget constraints did you go at to make things work for the year? Those are the things that really we need to start thinking about and really analyzing and committing to memory, because they will help us going forward. And of course, this is part of the fun of this whole thing, is that I get to do the show without Tom sometimes because he's clearly in spin mode. So I'm going to just keep talking and tell you that we really need to think about these things. I know it's not always fun and you want to just press ahead, but some of success comes from taking a moment to take stock. That's why we're doing it this week. This is the logical week to have this discussion. Because a lot of times, I know there are plenty of people, Tim says it in his comment, we will leave this horrid year behind us and never speak of it again, which I think you could say to Auld Lang Syne, we will leave this horrid year behind and never speak of it again. Yeah, I knew that would work. See, this is what happens. Tom leaves and I start doing a little comedy and musical review. But I think, and then he adds LOL. You can't leave something behind. It just won't work. We've got to be able to look at it. Nothing is really behind us because it's always inside us. It's inside our mind. It's inside our bodies. So as you think back to this year, this would be a good day to just take a couple of moments at looking back at this year and accepting the great things that you did. What did you do that was great this year? What did you do? Where did you go? How did you make things work? Here's a comment from Steve. I'm a lot better at looking back than looking ahead. Looking ahead always feels overwhelming. Yeah, it is easier to look back because we have accuracy. You know, you can look back and say, this happened. But when you think about it, it looks like Tom's coming back. There's Tom. Hey, how you been, Tom? You there?
Great.
Hardly.
Oh, yes.
No, okay. I was just talking about taking stock, and then I'll go back. I had a little wisdom here, Tom. Listen to this. We will leave this horrid year behind and never speak of it again. I figured I could do that to Auld Lang Syne, and I did. That quote. So, and I'm thinking maybe I'll just start singing quotes each time because that would be much more exciting. You're not with me, are you?
I am. I can hear you.
Oh, okay. You're pixelated.
Okay.
I'm not sure what to do with this, Tom. First of all, we switched sides, which makes me feel very awkward. Second, you are moving very slowly. So what I'm going to suggest, since I think I may be doing this alone, the one thing that we can do today, in my estimation, because, well, right now I'm the only person here, so I get to have all the power, I guess, is I think you really have to take a couple of moments today or sometime this week and think of the destinations you reached. So if you started this past year with a business and you still have a business, you reached a destination. If your revenue, any way you generated money this year, that's a destination, that's success. And I encourage you to take a minute and write those things down because it might help you to better understand how to move forward. So with that, I think I don't know how to do it myself because I'm not the technical wizard, but I'm going to wrap this up and tell you, if you want to have more discussions like this, join our Facebook group, the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. You can look for it. You can also go to ringofrenegades.com. That's ringofrenegades.com. And if you want to really zero in on this and really think through how to move forward into next year using the lessons learned from this year, I would encourage you to think of joining our Renegade Success Network. And if you join between now and Wednesday morning, you can be part of a special VIP event from 9 to 11 Wednesday morning for members of the Renegade Success Network. These are the people that have raised their hands and said, I want to do great things this year. I want to achieve something really powerful. I want to move forward in the most powerful way. If that is something you are interested in, you can contact Tom or me, or you can go to renegadesuccessnetwork.com. And with that, I'm going to close the door on today's episode unless Tom can speak, in which case, go for it, Tom.
Can you hear me now?
You're really garbled.
All right.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up for everyone's sake.
Carving your own path is tough.
Whoops. Hey now. Apparently we're not.
Carving your own path is tough. You want and need a community to offer you insight